Hey everybody, welcome back.
We missed you guys.
Yeah, I know it's been a while, and when we apologize for that, guys, to be honest, I don't know if it's been 3 videos we've missed, 3 weeks or 4, but
It's been
it's
a
somewhere in
whirlwind.
that area. But this last month has been, it's been crazy. Some of you may have seen some of our posts on social media regarding what's going on. I know a lot of y'all probably haven't. Some people have actually reached out to us, sent us messages, checking on us.
That means a lot to us.
It does. It's been a rough few weeks. Like I say, some people's even came and visited us when we set up at our craft shows and stuff that follow us on YouTube and have found out what's going on and stuff. So, but we officially want to kind of just discuss it openly. We
Right.
told you guys from the very beginning of this.
We're an open book.
Yep.
Yeah,
we're gonna give you the good. We're gonna give you the bad.
And the really ugly.
This one's the really bad and the really ugly.
Yeah.
So this is not an easy video to make. It was not easy to post out on social media about what's going on.
It's not an easy story to tell.
A lot of people have ridiculed us about what's happened. But again, what's done is done. What's happened has happened, and we've got to move forward.
Yes.
And so part of that moving forward is to let you guys know where we're at. I know we've got a lot of people following our Barndominium build and was anxious to see the next steps, and
Us too.
yeah. And so we got to get there. And so anyways, that's what this video is going to be about. We're going to bring you up to date on everything that's going on. So that's where we are.
Where do you start?
Yeah. Basically, if you remember, the last video we did was, we finally got the well in. And I don't think we even told the final cost. And I think some people commented and messaged us wanting to know the final cost. Final cost on the well was $7,069, which we was tickled pink with.
Yes.
Because they did end up having to drill down to 300 feet. I think we covered most of that in the last video.
Right.
Going from there, we thought we was turning on the heat, hitting full blast. We had plumbers lined up. We had the electrician lined up to do all the prep work, which has got to go underneath the concrete slab.
We were expecting to have concrete just in a matter of a week or two.
Yeah, they had already came out, put up forms, and was getting ready to pour the concrete, and we was ready to rock and roll. I mean, we thought honestly by now we should have been in the dry.
Yeah.
Our windows came in that we had ordered. That was on a 13-week back order. They came in early.
Yes,
which
for once.
Normally would have been great. Right now it's a curse.
Now it's a dilemma. Yes.
But anyways, basically what happened, guys, is we got to the point to where we was ready to basically start, putting the trusses up, putting the roof on, start to close the structure in, and originally the plan with the builder was to get the trusses up, get the roof on, then we was going to do the concrete.
Well, and a little backstory there, guys. I mean, you guys know, in this world that we're living in now, post-COVID, everything's back-ordered, everything's slow. People are having a hard time getting anybody to come and actually do work, and when they do, they can't get the things that they need. And so we feel like we had been stagnant for quite some time, but it really was all, there was a reason for everything. The builder that we were using didn't have a crew that would necessarily be able to be there to help him work, and it wasn't something he could do alone. And so we felt like we were very much on track given the situation that the world is in these days. And so we were very excited to get a partner to come in and help him, and had concrete lined up. I mean, we were, like he said, we were ready to start rocking and rolling, and things were really taking off. And so we pushed that concrete work ahead of getting the trusses up because we had the availability and we were excited for that.
Right. We had a crew that was going to come in and do it. They actually came in $13,000 cheaper than the other crew we was looking at.
Right.
And so we was ready to rock and roll, and then the wheels came off.
Yes.
Our builder talked us into going ahead and giving him, from the get-go, we told you we had a pay schedule.
Right.
And we've been very open and honest about what that pay schedule was and you know what the total cost was.
Well, and in full transparency, we interviewed probably 25 or 30 builders before we chose this builder. And every builder we talked to had a similar payout schedule.
Oh, yeah. Again, guys, we're building an 8,000 square foot under roof house here.
It's a huge build.
And so, you know, you don't do that without having, you know, a deposit for some of the materials and a pay schedule.
And a written contract, of course, which we did have.
Obviously, we had a contract.
Right.
So, anyways, we was going down that path. We'd done paid him the first pay schedule, which was to order all the steel. And again, the trusses and the purlins and stuff like that had never came in.
The structural steel was the first payout.
Right.
Right.
And you know, part of that's the trusses.
Right.
And those had never came in, and we kept getting we started getting a runaround about that. And that's the reason why when the concrete people came in, they had an opening. We was going to go ahead and do the concrete and put that first. So in doing that, again, you know, we felt like we had built trust with this builder. And so we went ahead and paid him the second payout, which was to order the outside metal, which would have been the roof, the siding, and all that.
Because the trusses were set to be in. We were expecting trusses any day. Yeah.
And so we went ahead and paid that. And then that's when he basically ran off with our money.
Yep.
We was out, what was it, $89,000?
$89,100 total.
That he ran off with. Again, that's between first and second payout. And then, I mean, gosh, it just got crazy after that. The guy that he brought on as his partner.
He told us that this man was a partner in his business, and we have found out since then that he was not a partner.
Yeah, that was not the understanding between them two. That's just what he was telling us and telling a lot of his other customers.
He was a contractor that was being brought in just as assistance.
Yeah, he was just trying to help this guy out. And so, anyways, that kind of brought everything to light when he came in, because he had credit lines set up with concrete people and cement companies and all that.
Right.
And so when they set the post on hours, they actually used his account to get the concrete out there, to pour the concrete in the post holes. Well, then that bill never got paid. And so this guy that was, you know, again, I'm going to call him the partner, but he really wasn't a partner.
Wasn't a business partner. Right.
But anyways, you know, he called us and said, "Hey guys, you know, Wayne's not giving me any money for this, and this bill's due."
Right.
And so, of course, we called him up, and he, of course, had plenty of excuses and said it was just a misunderstanding between them two, and he'd get it taken care of. Well, then the next day, we're sitting in, you know, we have our camper over on the property, and we stay over there certain days of the week, especially if work's going to be going on. The very next day, black truck rolls up with a big old black trailer, and I'm like, "We're not expecting any contractors today. What's going on?" And so I go out, and it was the concrete guy, and he said, "I am here to take up all the forms and rip all the forms up and get my stuff back." And I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute, what's going on?" And at that time, he informed us he hadn't been paid. He'd been trying to contact Wayne to get paid and been getting the runaround too.
Well, and for us, at that point in time, we're totally in the dark. We have no idea who's telling the truth. Like Randall said, we had already built what we thought was a friendship with this builder and trusted him. And these new people, this new partner and his crew, we didn't have that relationship with them. We had only met them once. And so we didn't know, is our builder lying to us? Is his partner lying? And so we had no clue where to turn or who to trust.
Right. And so at that point, that's when we put the brakes on everything. I talked to the concrete guy, super great guy, by the way. He was just caught in the middle like we was. But you know, I told him, I said, "Hey," I said, "you know, let's call Wayne." Of course, Wayne had plenty of excuses. Said he'd get him paid. Well, once we got off the phone with him, I told the concrete guy, I said, "Look," I said, "you worked your butt off for us here." I said, "I will make sure you get paid if I have to pay you myself."
Right.
At that point, basically what we did was we kind of set up a thing where Wayne was supposed to meet these other two people and get them paid.
Actually, the partner had set up a meeting to make sure that they got their portion of the money, because didn't even know that we had already given Wayne the second installment to pay them.
Right.
And so it was just a big confusing mess.
So basically, when they set up their little meeting, unbeknownst to any of them, we was determined we was going to be there and get to the bottom of this.
We had to know who was telling
So we
the
drove.
truth.
So we drove 2.5 hours to their meeting location. Got there an hour early so we could set up surveillance. Obviously, we got a YouTube channel.
Right.
Obviously, we know a few things, so we set up whether we wouldn't be seen, but we could see them to see who would show up and what would happen.
Now, that sounds all shady. We actually were just parked in a parking lot.
Well,
it was not.
We had to get to the bottom of it. We had to get some answers.
We didn't do anything illicit. We just parked in an area, and they never knew we were there.
But in doing that, the partner, I'll call him, because I don't want to give his name here on the video, because he's turned out to be a big help to us.
He's a great guy, yeah.
Showed up way early, like we did, and waited and waited and waited. Nobody else showed up. Well, right at the meeting time, concrete guy shows up right on time.
Right.
And at that time, we all get a text at the same time from Wayne, basically saying, "Hey, I've been sitting here for 40 minutes. Nobody showed up. Go figure. I'm going to the house."
Well,
of course, we know he wasn't there. We'd been sitting there. At that point, we'd been sitting there an hour and a half.
But ironically, at that point in time, as the text came through, we see the builder drive by in his truck with trailer.
Yeah.
And pass right where we were.
So basically, he had no intention of being there.
Right.
He had no intention of stopping. He just did that just to say that, trying to say that he'd been there. They didn't show up, and I'm sure he was going to come back to us and say, "Hey, they never showed up. I don't know what's going on with them." But
Well,
like I say, we was there and we know better.
That's why we were there, because at that point we knew exactly who was telling the truth and who wasn't.
So anyways, that's where the wheels fell off. That's where we started doing some more digging after that. We started reaching out to some of his other builds. Before we hired this guy, we went and we talked to other people that he was building for. We went to their build sites. We talked to the people. They was happy with what was going on at that time. But obviously, or evidently, right after we talked to them, the same thing happened to them. This guy has the MO of basically taking the first draw, doing just enough work
to build your trust,
to get the second draw, and then he vanishes.
Ghosts you. Yeah, he ghosts everybody.
He just vanishes.
Yeah.
At this point, there is 15 other families besides us that have, just this year alone. Well, no, that's not just this year alone.
One is from previous. All the others are from this year.
Everything is from this year.
Right.
Same thing has happened to him in almost the exact same fashion. And so this guy is really good at what he does. He's really good at talking a lot of smack and getting you to believe him and getting on board. I hate to say it. I mean, he got out there, and he was claiming he's a preacher and speaking at rehab centers, and his best friend's a preacher, and he helps him with his rehab center. He was going to donate a rehab center.
Yes.
He was going to donate and build this guy a building for it. And this guy, I feel like that guy's actually one of the victims at this point,
right?
Because he had a lot of promises made to him that have not been fulfilled also.
Yes.
And so, we're not the only ones in this boat right now. Obviously, we have been to the authorities. We've been before a magistrate judge. We've got criminal investigations on it.
Yes.
We have some other people trying to help us out, trying to reach out to Secretary of State. We're trying to, and here's what he does. He tends to go to a county and do this to a person or a family. Then he'll go to a different place, a different county. And so then when somebody goes and files the police report, it looks like an isolated incident where just the builder got in over his head.
The counties are not speaking to each other, so they haven't put together that this is a pattern.
Right.
And he's
and
a
so,
habitual
everybody
violator.
else was just, they don't know about anybody else. They haven't dug into anybody else. And so they just go file a report for their build. And it's different counties, different states. And so nobody's put two and two together that this is a pattern that he is doing, just like she said.
Well, and because it seems to be an isolated incident in that county, the officials in the counties tend to see it as a civil issue rather than a criminal issue. And so that brings in a whole other realm of problems.
Well, and that's something to keep in mind, guys. If any of this ever happens to you, in the state of Georgia, if somebody deceives you out of more than $500, it is a felony criminal offense.
Yes.
Don't let the police ding-dong you around saying it's a civil matter.
Right.
if they came to your property and you signed a contract and they don't fulfill that contract and it is over $500, it is a felony criminal offense.
Yes.
Now the police will try to tell you that's a civil offense. You need to go try to hire a lawyer and sue them. That's bull crap.
Push.
And so don't fall for that. We've been
push
through all
harder.
this. Like I said, that's what we've been fighting for the last month. That's the reason why we haven't put out any videos.
Right.
Because honestly, this has been all consuming.
Yes.
I mean, we still have work that, jobs that we have to do in a normal time, and every minute outside of that, we've been chasing this guy, talking with police, talking to officials, talking to other families. That's the reason why we took to social media,
Oh, we've
just to
driven.
try to see if anybody else had this happen to them.
We've driven hundreds and hundreds of miles to go
Thousands.
and speak to people, and to try to find him and see where he's even located at this point.
So we actually went back to other build sites that we had visited, when everything was good, and they said everything was good, only to find out he'd done the same thing to them right after we had met with him.
Right.
He ghosted them. One mistake we made there is we didn't leave our name and number with those people.
Right.
They said they knew we was out there, but they had no way to get in touch with us. They didn't know who we was. They didn't have our phone number, and so, or else they would probably have warned us.
Well, and at that point, it would have been too late for us for the first check, because after, we did an extensive search on him, and we've been ridiculed excessively on Facebook for not researching him in more depth.
Well, and
But,
we did.
but we did research him.
We
at
checked the
that.
BBB. We
Yes.
checked, reviews. We Googled him. We, everything that you could possibly do.
Well, but the downfall there is at that point in time when we were Googling him, we only knew him as Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know his entire name. We knew his business name. We knew that everything we found online matched exactly what he told us.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't see any red flags.
Part of his MO is he does this to people, then he hides for 2 or 3 years,
And then he
changes
comes back.
business names, goes by a different alias, and then starts it all over again.
So once we got through this whole mess and found out some things, we were able to go back at that time and we Googled his entire name and found some more issues that we would have found had we known his whole name. And then we started finding the other business names. We know of at least 3 business names just
Right.
in the last couple of years.
Right.
And so we feel like we did our due diligence and it wasn't enough.
Yeah. And, I wish we could tell you guys a secret of, because I know we see it on these Barndominium pages every day of people like, hey, I'm in such and such area. Who does these things? Who builds these things? Give me some recommendations. And unfortunately, and we told you in one of the I think our second or third video, we called out some of the businesses
Yes,
then that
we
we found
did.
out that was fraudulent. That we did in searching for builders. We found out they're not telling you the whole story here. They've got bad reviews and things that we found out on them.
And ironically, we told this builder, just so you know, if you ever screw us, we're going to do the same thing to you.
Yeah. And so, this guy's brazen, but
He is.
But I wish there was a secret formula we could tell you, is like, here's how to find a good builder. We don't know it, obviously.
We don't know the secret.
We thought we did everything we could to avoid this situation, and it still happened to us. And so right now, that's where we're at. Everything is on hold.
Yes.
We canceled plumbers, we canceled electricians, we canceled the concrete. We just put everything completely on hold because now this was a weld up steel building.
Mm-hmm.
In our area, there's hardly nobody that builds barndominiums, period.
Right.
The few that we have found are either stick built, basically,
Or red iron.
or red iron. Not many of them is welded up. We like the advantages of the weld up steel, but now we're in the situation of who are we going to find that's going to come out there and pick up where he left off.
Right.
We did meet with a builder on Friday, and he basically told us that they would not go on what he's done because they don't know what he's done.
Exactly. Who would trust what's been done in this situation?
And so basically, he told us we're going to have to put, the posts are concrete in there. They're concrete 3 foot in the ground. They're 20-foot posts. They weigh 520 pounds a piece. But basically, he told us we're going to have to pull every post up, get all the concrete out of the holes, and completely start over from scratch.
Yeah.
And so that's going to cost thousands, probably tens of thousands of dollars. in addition to the $89,000 we're already out of.
Right.
And so, right now, brakes are on hold on everything until we can get our bearings. We ironically, we was fixing to talk to another builder when we started digging into him, started Googling them. We found out
He's done the same thing.
yeah, I mean, he was turned out to be a crook and had recently got arrested too, and so they're off there. So we're still hunting for somebody that can come in and try to help us get this done. Because one thing, I mean, this was a devastating blow. I mean, it literally just like somebody, like a mule kicked you in the chest and knocked the air out of you.
Yeah.
But we will not give up on our dream.
Oh, no.
This is our dream home.
This will not stop
We have
us.
been thinking about this for over a year, probably closer to 2 years now.
Over 2 years, yeah, pre-cancer.
And so, we're not giving up. This is what we're going to do. This was being built on family land. And we've already got, if you guys watched our previous videos, we've already got the driveway in, septic in, lots cleared, got the well in.
Well, we already have our bathtub and all of our fixtures. We have our front door. We have our sliding doors and all of our windows and doors that we had ordered for this house
have came
are
in
just
now.
They're waiting for us to pick them up, and
We have no
don't
place
have
to
a
put 'em.
place to store them.
And so we've got to figure out that's our first immediate thing, is to figure out where to store all these windows and doors that are coming in. We're going to have to probably get a metal container or some kind of storage unit or something to put all this in until we can pick up. But we will pick up and move on. And when we do, just like everything else, we'll be completely transparent.
Yes.
We will show you what that entails. We still hope maybe we can salvage some of this steel. We got $20,000 worth of steel sticking up out of the ground. It would be really nice if we could use that and not have to waste it. But we just don't know yet. We've only had one builder come out so far to try to help us pick up where we're left off. Obviously we got to talk to some more.
There's so many unknowns at this point.
But guys, I'm going to put his face up here. I'm going to put the picture of the last truck we know he was driving. We did get news this week that supposedly his accounts got frozen, and so he may be hurting for money. We heard that he supposedly sold his welder that was on the back of the truck, and so we're not even sure if he's still driving this truck and trailer or not. But it was a brand new truck. It had an expired drive-out tag on it because we found out that he was arrested on June 4th for DUI.
And a revoked and suspended
And had
license.
a revoked and suspended license from a previous DUI. And so, he couldn't get a tag for this truck. That's the reason why he always keeps the trailer on the truck.
It hides the tag, yeah.
So people can't, there's tag readers at almost every red light now, and police can't see it if there's a trailer behind it. So, but again, if you see this guy, please reach out to us. Let us know. We are actively trying to find him. I do know he has supposedly a felony warrant out of Towns County.
Towns County, Georgia.
Yeah, where somebody else has already filed suit against him that he's done this to. They won the suit because he didn't show up in court. And so now they're trying to collect on their money, and they have warrants out for him.
Well, and there is another victim who has filed to get an arrest warrant against him in Franklin County, Georgia. Unfortunately, and this is the same case we're in, when you file, it can take up to 60 days before the judge will even decide if they will issue an arrest warrant.
Right. And that's where we're at the moment.
Right.
We're trying to fight that bureaucracy, trying to get through the criminal investigations unit to get in front of a DA, to get in front of a judge,
And
get
to
that,
try to expedite.
yeah, to get that warrant issued. So we've got to keep tabs on this guy. We got to know where he's at, so that when that happens, we can have him picked up. We have got to shut this guy down, guys.
Yes.
Because again, this ain't just our story. This is
many people's stories.
yeah. Like I said, we know 15 other people. Thank goodness from where we've been putting stuff out on social media.
We've stopped him.
We have stopped. We've been contacted by 3 other people that had been talking to him about signing contracts. One in Kentucky was fixing to sign on the dotted line when they saw our post on social media. So thank goodness we stopped him from doing this to somebody else. We know at least one person, possibly 3. I cannot tell you how many people have reached out to us to give us information on this guy.
Yes.
And that means the world to us.
People have contacted us and said, we saw him at this restaurant
Yeah.
last Friday night. Somebody called us and said he told us that he's living in an apartment in Habersham County, Georgia.
Well,
people
and
are
the
reaching
other
out
reason
like crazy.
what's making it so hard to find him is in the midst of all of this, supposedly his wife has kicked him out of the house. She's filed for divorce. She actually filed papers on him, to make him leave the residence so that
she can move back in.
so she can move back in the residence. And so, that makes it that much harder to find him because he's not where his home address used to be.
He's somewhat transient at this point.
Yeah, and so, right now we think he's still hanging around the area he used to be, which was down towards Habersham, Banks County, Cornelia,
Baldwin, Georgia.
Yeah, all down in there. And so if anybody's down in that area and sees this guy, again, like I say, we'll make sure we get the picture of him and the truck up there. If you see him, contact us, let us know. Authorities are looking for him actively.
Yes.
And we need to shut this guy down, guys, because, I know we're probably never going to see a penny of our money back.
Right.
And that's something we've got to live with. We've got to overcome that obstacle and continue on. We told you all along we was paying cash. This is a cash build. This is something we've saved up all of our lives for. We've been, investments. We used to have rental properties that we've sold to fund this project, to do this. And so we've got to overcome that part.
Right.
But even if we don't get any of that money back, we will overcome it.
Yes.
And we will get this house built, and we will show you guys every step of the way how we do it.
But our main focus right now is to stop this guy.
Yes,
we don't want him hurting anyone else.
We've talked to one family. It was actually a single mother and her kids that he did this to, and they're living in a camper now because they sold their primary home to buy the land to build this Barndo, and then he ran out on them. So they're living in a camper.
Well, and they're not alone. There was a family, a set of 3 sisters, and their families decided to buy acreage, and all 3 sisters were building on this one property. They all sold their homes and bought campers to live in while the build was progressing, and he did the same thing to them. So now they're all 3 living in campers with their children. And they don't have homes. Yeah.
And so, guys, I'm just going to tell you right now, you put comments on there that we're stupid, that it's our fault, we should have done due diligence better, I'll delete your comments. I ain't putting up with it no more. Because bottom line is, we trusted somebody, we in good faith gave them money, they should have done their job and completed the job. Anything else beyond that really doesn't matter at this point.
Right.
And so, but we would appreciate your help. And like I say, we've got to shut this guy down so he doesn't hurt other people. We've actually talked to some people that was so broken over this that, when we found them and when we went up to talk to them, they're like, look, we can't even talk about it. We don't.
We're done. It's in the past, and we're not going to think about it
anymore. The only thing they would tell us is like, yes, Wayne scammed us. This is where we're at. And, we're done. And turned around and walked off. Yeah. And I understand that.
Oh, we totally understand it.
I don't fault them for that, but I feel like being silent at this point is the wrong thing to do because he's going to keep doing this to other people.
Well, and it's like we said.
We have court records from 2017 where he's done this, and with that family, they actually, they took him to court. They did everything by the book. They got him arrested. They took him to court. They won the court case. Then he turned around and tried to file bankrupt on them to keep from paying them.
So they went to the bankruptcy
court and talked to the judge and told them their story. The judge listened to them and said, no, I will not allow you to file bankruptcy against them. You're going to have to pay these people their money back, and they still, to this day, have not seen a penny.
It's been 3 years since they won their case, and they haven't gotten a penny of their money back.
And they have done everything by the book. They've done everything right, and still haven't gotten any money back.
Well, and you have to understand, we are very skeptical people, and we do our research. We do tons of research before we ever make decisions. And it is super, super embarrassing to come out here and tell the world that we were scammed and we gave somebody that much money and that we're out that money now. But it is way too important for us to tell you that and suffer the ridicule that we're receiving if we can stop him from doing it to other people.
Yeah. Yeah, so, we took a lot of flack on Facebook, on social media, where people, say you're dumb and stupid. That's fine. We can take it. We'll let that roll off our backs if it helps anybody else.
Right.
You know, and like I say, we just got to stop this guy. I cannot know that I didn't say something and this guy got away with it.
Well, and to be honest, if somebody had said something to us, we would have never given him the check. If somebody had said something earlier, we would have never written him the second installment.
Yeah.
And so it's our duty to
and
tell
I guess
you.
that's where a lot of our frustration comes from, is because right about the time we wrote him the other check, there was a few events happening. I'm not going to go into details here because I don't want to give out too much for him to figure out where we're getting information from. But people knew, and had they just mentioned any part of what they knew to us, literally 1 week sooner, we wouldn't have wrote him that second check for $45,000. And so that would have saved us a lot of money. And so that's the reason why we're speaking out. Hopefully we can save somebody some money, save somebody the heartache, save somebody the agony.
Yes.
And so that's where we're at, guys. You know, I would love to tell you we'll be back next week.
I don't know if
But
we'll be back
we
next
probably
week.
won't.
It may be a few weeks.
But, you know, like I said, we did meet with the builder Friday. As we start meeting with some other builders and we start finding some solutions on how we can, you know, go forward from here, we will start shooting more videos. We
Yes.
will complete this video series on the Barndominium.
And eventually we will show you a finished Barndominium
Yes,
home that we are living in.
And it is going to be spectacular,
It
guys.
will be.
You know, we're still in the middle of, we've got a few other options here on how we're going to fund this thing.
Right.
And actually how we, you know, we're trying to figure out ways to go ahead and be closer to the build site rather than, you know, right now we're in Dalton, we're building in LJ. And yes, we do have the camper over there, but we're looking at all the options we can right now. We have several ways we can go with this. And so as soon as we make some decisions and figure some things out, we will be bringing that.
Yes.
And then hopefully not too long in the future, we'll be showing you back on the building process. And so we're excited to get there. You know, we appreciate you guys being patient with us. Like I say, we was afraid we would lose a lot of subscribers and a lot of our followers not having a video in 3 to 4 weeks.
And we've got
But
so
ironically,
much support from you
yeah.
guys. I mean, it is so humbling.
Like I say, when people you don't even know come up and say, hey, you know, we've been watching your series, but, you know, we missed you the last 3 weeks. What's going on? I mean, it blew us away.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty
So,
cool.
just to recap, guys, our builder, his name is Joseph Wayne Gonzalez Jr.
Yeah, and he's gone by multiple different names. He's gone by Joe. He's gone by Wayne.
He's gone by JW. He's gone by J. Wayne.
And the last name is spelled funny. We'll actually put it up
Yes.
here on the screen somewhere where we'll show you his face in the truck and everything, so you can see the spelling of his name. It's not
It's
like
not
the
the
typical
traditional Gonzalez spelling.
Exactly.
And the businesses that we know he's operated under in the last few years, we hired him as Phoenix Builders. We also found that he's worked under the name Phoenix Fabrication, and he's also worked as 2717 Ironworks. So there was a reference to a biblical verse.
Yeah, he's real big about spouting Christian and biblical and all this kind of stuff. And,
Right.
and that's a shame because it gives Christians a bad name for what he's doing to people.
Yes. And so that's his information. As far as us personally, we have our first step was to contact the sheriff's office in Gilmer County, Georgia. We did file a complaint against him and had an incident report written. Then we took that incident report to the magistrate and filed that with our paperwork there for them to review to determine whether they would issue an arrest warrant on him. It is still sitting with magistrate right now. That's where they told us the police report took 5 to 7 days to get, and then magistrate said 30 to 60 days before they make a decision.
Now, luckily, we pleaded our case with them. We showed them proof that this was not an isolated incident, that this was
Yes.
happening to other people. So criminal investigations did get involved with
Yes.
that. It is with an investigator that is, he's building his case to take before the DA.
Yes.
And so, there's 2 avenues there. The magistrate can issue a warrant for his arrest, or the DA can issue a warrant for his arrest.
Yes.
So we're pursuing both avenues there.
Right. And so, just if something like this has happened to you or does happen to you, be persistent. Call, push and plead your case. Don't give up, and don't let them think it's not as significant as it is.
And if you have talked to this guy, or if you've been ripped off by this guy, if you've done business with this guy, we would love to hear from you.
Yes.
Drop us a comment down in the comments below.
Or send us a private message.
Send us an email.
To us any way you want to.
You reach out to us. I'll make sure we get you I'm not going to put it on the video, but I'll make sure we get you our contact information, our cell phone information, so we can talk. We'd be glad to meet with you.
Well, and you can also reach out to us on our website, ourroundaboutlife.com. There's a contact us tab there. Yep. If you go in and send us an email there, it'll come straight to our phones.
Yeah, and it comes to us immediately. We try to react to those very quickly.
Yes.
And so that's where we're at, guys. I'm sorry it's bad news. I'm sorry it's not something exciting as far as something else with the build, but we will get there. Just be patient with us. We will get there, and we'll let you know what develops through this. And just as soon as we can get somebody else to take over the build, we'll get back to building.
Yes, we sure will.
That is our number one goal.
And one of our things we always say is, I don't know if you've ever gone to the beach. If you stand in the sand and the water comes in, if you stand still, you'll sink and get buried in the sand. But if you stay moving, keep walking, you stay above it. So we're going to just keep moving.
One step in front of the other. That's all we can do right now. If you guys are going through any trouble in your lives, that's something to keep in mind. Just keep moving. Keep moving forward. It'll all work out.
Yep.
And so we will be back with you soon. Like I said, I wish I could promise next week. Probably won't be. But we will be back on here soon. And, if there's anything, as always, guys, if there's anything we can do for you guys, please reach out to us. Yes. If you're in a similar situation, we can tell you what we've done, what we've learned, anything like that.
And we learn more every day.
We do. I mean, you would not believe the amount of information pouring into us, trying to help us stop this guy, and we appreciate that. So, until next time, you guys take care, and we'll be back soon.